Hello and welcome to the Classroom Professor Math Podcast. This program is designed to help you to prepare and teach mathematics more easily, efficiently and effectively, to truly engage your students in mathematical thinking and to develop their numeracy. Hello everyone. I'm standing in front of one of the many cable cars in the nation of Switzerland where we're visiting for a couple of days. This particular one is just up from the city of Lucerne and it's a lovely sunny day, although a little bit hazy in the background. A church bell has just started ringing. I don't suppose you can hear it, but it just sounds really beautiful and the birds are singing. Anyway, one of the notable features of Switzerland is its very high and steep mountains. And so almost everywhere you go in Switzerland, especially the places that we go as tourists, there are very steep mountains. And so the Swiss have come up with a number of ingenious ways of catering for those mountains. For example, the technology behind me, the cable car. Another example is special railways that have a cog and toothed rail mechanism to enable the train to go up extremely steep tracks that otherwise, of course, wouldn't be possible. Another is tunnels. In Australia, they build roads that go around mountains, and you know there's a lot of engineering work, but they generally go around them. In Switzerland, it seems when they see a hill and the road has to go somewhere, they go, right, we'll bore a hole through it, and away we go. So yesterday we drove through a tunnel that was 17 kilometers long. And it just went up through the middle of the mountain and came out the other side, and there was the sunshine again. So the Swiss, as a nation, have had to cater for these very steep slopes, and it has affected a number of different aspects of their lives and their technology. And we can connect the study of angles and slope or gradient with a study of this sort of technology. For example, the tunnel that we drove through yesterday. It wasn't just some random, let's drill a hole through a mountain and put a road through it. It was of a particular slope. Of course, vehicles have to drive up the tunnel, and so the slope needed to be no steeper than a particular designated angle, whatever the authorities have decided. Road signs on steep roads in many countries, including Switzerland, will indicate how steep the road is. I've seen signs that have a ratio that might say 1 in 10 or 1 in 12, 1 in 8. And those numbers, of course, indicate the degree of slope that is there. So a 1 in 8 slope, for example, would mean that for every 1 meter that you go vertically, you go 8 meters horizontally. So a 1 in 8 slope would be steeper than a 1 in 12 slope. Nowadays it seems it's more common to have percentages. So here in Switzerland and in other places we've seen signs with a percentage. So there's a sign saying indicating a slope either up or down, and then a number with a percent symbol. So it might say 4%, 5%, 6%. I've always found them a little interesting that they use percentage, and I do wonder whether the average driver understands what that percentage means. Of course, the higher the number, the steeper the slope, so you could judge it that way. But I would expect, and I haven't seen this defined anywhere, that the percentage is similarly referring to the vertical distance travelled against the horizontal distance travelled and expressing that fraction as a percentage. You could do lots and lots of studies with students in a class about slope and gradient. You could connect the study of angles and, as I just said, ratios and percentages to describe slope with the study of technology and the study of science. So I remember doing a lesson one time investigating mechanical advantage and simple machines, and challenged my students to raise an object a certain vertical distance using a force that was less than its weight. They thought that was too difficult, but I provided them with enough hints and enough equipment for them to successfully do that. And the two options I gave them were a pair of pulleys, or I think I might have had 3, giving a mechanical advantage, or a ramp. So of course that's the idea of a road. If a road goes up a mountain, it doesn't go straight up the mountain from the bottom straight to the top, but it will weave from side to side. And that's a feature of roads in a very mountainous area like where we are now in Switzerland. And so by zigzagging up the mountain, up the slope, you create... I'm having to stop for people crossing, travelling on this road. By zigzagging, you produce a slope which is of a lower degree, therefore making it possible to traverse that slope. So we use the same thing for pedestrians, where we've been walking today, coming down from where we went on the cable car. The track weaves from side to side. If we walked straight up, it would be far, far steeper. Another application of this is to look at erosion. So anywhere there is a very steep slope with vegetation that you're trying to preserve, or just the topsoil, the steeper the slope, the more likely it is that the soil will be washed away. And so that, again, that's another study that you can connect to the idea and the principles of slope and how it's measured. So lots of opportunities for lessons that you could take on with your students, connecting those two ideas. Thank you for joining me on the Classroom Professor Math podcast. You can email me via peter@classroomprofessor.com or follow me on Twitter with the username peter_price. You can also visit our website at www.classroomprofessor.com to download free resources, including the ebook 10 Minutes a Day Times Tables Worksheets. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please go and rate the show on iTunes. I look forward to speaking with you next time, and until then, goodbye.